Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. We are going to do a behind the scenes video for cleaning up my computer. I have several different things that I want to clean up, and I'm starting with renaming my reel that I had taken off of my camera roll. I like to put the word reel, then dash, and then the year and the month and what it was about, and then transfer it over to my 2025 YouTube folder. And as you can see here, I am transferring the first batch of videos. For me, it's just easier to go little batch by little batch. And once I get it over into that YouTube folder, that's when I will make sure everything kind of consistently has the same name. So once I have my videos transferred over to that folder, like I said, that is when I will start to check the names and make sure everything is consistent, because I generally like to label things the same. That way I can go back and find a video if I want to. So now I have gone into my hard drive because I save everything on my hard drive, not necessarily my Mac computer. My Mac is more of like a holding place until I can make sure that I have time to label things and transfer things over to the hard drive. So this is my last batch of videos. Then I will go into my hard drive, and in my hard drive I have one main folder that is called Creative Supplies, and that is where I will find like all the different projects that I have and also all the different makers of products. Right now I'm just in the YouTube folder and kind of updating the various videos that I have. Like, I noticed I didn't like the way that I had labeled my planner and journal videos. I wanted to add in the month. So in front of the month January, I put 01. And then it will have the same title. So 2025 Planners Hobonichi Avec. And then it will have the month. So 01, 02, whatever it is. And then the month. And that way, when it starts to alphabetize it, it will be in the order starting with January, moving on down the months. And I also make sure that I not only relabel the flip throughs, but also the setups, because I have flip throughs and I have setups. I don't think I've done a flip through of my journal in a while, so maybe I could do that if you guys are interested and do like a first quarter flip through. But I love having my videos labeled, and that way I can clearly see that they are in this folder on my hard drive, and I can take them off of my phone if I want to. Now I've moved on to kind of the Project Life section, and you can see I have AE, which stands for Ali Edwards, then Project Life, then the year and the month, and then the written out month, and then part 1, part 2, so on and so forth. And that works really nicely when I go and see, like, what part am I on? What do I need to label the next video? Same thing with Week in the Life 2020. I think I'm going to work on those labeling in just a little bit. I also wanted to change how I labeled my behind the scenes video and add a date to them, or roughly like a month and date. But it was so funny. I had to load my YouTube list of videos to get the date, and then I realized, duh, over on the right hand side I have the kind of data. Is it called metadata? I don't know what it's called, but it has all the information that I needed over on that right panel. I did not realize that. I felt so silly, but once I figured it out, that made it so much easier. And that way, again, when the Mac is putting things in order, things will be kind of in order from January through December, and it's easy to see when I did videos and what kind of videos I did. So I like doing it that way. I also need to fix up my December daily labeling as well, and I think I'm going to work on that as well as my 2020. So I kind of changed how I labeled it. So it's AE and then Week in the Life 2020. And I wanted to make sure this particular video, the behind the scenes one, was in the front, because that was where I kind of started with, is the planning, the computer planning. So I put 00. And I love that. I love doing 0, if it's going to be a project that is like before the project, like the planning stages of the project. And then over here for the December daily, kind of behind the scenes, I erased behind the scenes and I just put December daily 2024 and then BTS for behind the scenes, because really I want to focus on what is the main category of this video. And if it's December daily, then I want to put December daily. And it's just kind of picking and choosing what the category is and what makes sense to me. In the end, it's my videos, it's my categorizing, but I figured this is really helpful or can be helpful to others. I also take all of my December daily videos and I put December daily 2024, Ali Edwards, day such and such, and then kind of a little title for whatever the video is about. So like the 31st was the year recap. It's a really long title, but it's very specific and makes it easy for me to find a video if I need it. And this, of course, will be very helpful for like unused videos as well, and to just make sure that I have all my videos on my hard drive, because I'd like to have them all there. I did notice that December daily, the first one, Hello December, that one needed to be edited to have day 01. I think that's what I needed on that one. And then this one that is the second and the third, that needed 02, I believe. Something like that. But they needed to be fixed so that way they could be bumped up in the order. I also have a few 2023 videos in here as well, because when I started sharing December daily videos last year, I started with a few 2023 videos since I hadn't been able to share those. So I think I'm just about done with labeling these December daily videos. I did decide for my getting ready and prep pages, I would do day 0 and then part 1 and part 2. And I think I even had a part 3 because I made a mini book for all the reading that I'll do in December. This one right here got labeled Project Life, so I needed to add AE to the beginning so that way it would jump up to the Ali Edwards section. Same thing with this May part 1, that needed to have an AE to jump it up to the top. And you can see here is all my reading journals, and again, I do reading journal, then the year and the month. And for the setup, I put a 0 after 2025, so that way that would also bump it up to the beginning. And I really like that. It makes it, like I said, makes it so much easier. These are all my reels, and I just put things that are unused. I sometimes make reels for projects and then decide, I don't know if my audience would like it, or, you know, more often than not, I just get busy and forget to post them. And I also have a ton of October daily videos as well. I think I mentioned that, but a lot of October daily videos because I just got so behind and I didn't get to share a lot of them. So I think the next thing that I'm going to work on is there's a few miscellaneous items at the bottom of my hard drive. And I like to go up into the divided panel in my Mac. And so that way I can see everything and move everything much easier. So I have these 3 papers that I scanned in from an Ali Edwards kit. So I'm just moving those from the bottom where they were to Ali Edwards, and then I think from Ali Edwards they need to go into the Story Play kit. And I love how the scan turned out for these papers. They turned out fantastic. It's just a matter of getting my printer to print things that look similar to what is on my screen. I do have some new things in my Ali Edwards folder, so I am taking all of those and opening them up and getting them into one folder. So like when you open this Grateful Story stamp, you have to open a second folder that contains all the stamps. So I put all those stamps into one folder and then I relabel it with the month. So you can see all the thankful stamps are in that 4th panel, and now I label it 2025-04 story stamp thankful. and I'm going to go ahead and transfer that over to the story stamps. And I was looking for the title of the story stamp, or whatever the theme of the stamp was, so that way I could know what to call it. And I figured it out. It was thankful, but it was March that I could not figure out. I also needed to make a kit for the storyteller kits. I had think the first quarterly kit fun and some bonus digitals just kind of floating in the main Ali Edwards folder. So I wanted to go ahead and label those and also move it into its folder. As you can see, there is really broad, huge categories for the Ali Edwards things that I have. So alphas are awesome, art of noticing, day in the life, December daily, stories by the month, story kits, and so on and so forth. So having in those really big categories helps me out. And now I'm moving those papers I scanned into the correct folders and checking various things that I have that are kind of miscellaneous. The circle template, that's a template I made, and I wasn't sure where to put that. I also just recently got the June story kit and the May, not the June story kit, the May and June stories by the month. So I want to open all of those things. Like there's a folder for chipboard, there's a folder for cards, and let's see, vellum, and it's all kinds of different folders. And I cannot do things that way. I can't. I don't want to open a folder and then open another one and then another one. I want one folder to contain everything. So I got everything into one folder for May, and then I go ahead and relabel it. And the label is going to be 05-2025 May stories by the month. And I think this is the only place in my hard drive where the month comes first and then the year. So, I mean, I could always switch it if I wanted to, but I have so many stories by the month kits that it doesn't make sense to do it that way. I went to my downloads and I grabbed the 2 new items that I have. I know one of them is the June Stories by the Month kit, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. I've noticed with my MacBook, it's really hard to take something from the downloads and drag it to the hard drive and then get it inside the exact folder that I want it. So I also wanted to finish cleaning up the other items that I had that were miscellaneous in the bottom of my hard drive. So I had a couple family movies that are home videos. I love calling them home videos. So I moved those to the correct folder. I also moved a few Canva reading journal projects, and I just have a dual Tombow brush chart down at the bottom and a few other things that I really don't know where they should go. So those family movies, I moved those into the correct locations. I use a app called 1 Second Every Day. And so I moved those into the monthly folder because I have a 2024 yearly folder, and then within that is all the monthly folders. So to me, that makes the most sense, and that's how I've always done it. So now that I have the miscellaneous stuff taken care of in my hard drive, at least for the most part, because you can see over on the first panel, there is 4 items that I don't have a home for. So I'm just going to leave them there for now. I've gone back into my Ali Edwards folder with the stuff that I just recently downloaded, and I'm opening up all of those various pieces. So I'm opening up all of June and also the new stamp set for this month. I forget what it's called, but it has frames and a bunch of tiny words. And again, this was one where I couldn't exactly tell what the title was. It was kind of hard to tell. So I just made my own title and I think I put frames. I also like to delete the licensing, I don't really need that. I also don't save the SVG files. I only save the ping files because I don't know. I've been told I don't need the SVG. I think that's the right word. So I just don't save those. So now I have everything in one central folder. I can go ahead and relabel it 2025-05 May frames and words. So that's what I just decided to call it. Now in this June folder, you can see there's multiple folders. the sticker sheet has a lot of little pieces to it. So that's the exception that I will make when I'm opening up a kit. If the folder has a lot of small components, I will leave those together. So like alphas or numbers or a set of words, I will leave that alone and leave it to itself. So I just open everything and drag it over to that third panel, which is the main panel for June. And once I have everything dumped, I usually like to take a look at like what's in the kit, what kind of ideas it sparks, and also like what kind of things can I print for my journal. So it's a really great kit this month, the June one. I love like kind of the eclectic mix of different pieces in June, and I'm just excited to print some of it for my journal and just to use it in my projects. So now I have everything in this folder. I need to just relabel it with the 06-2025. So really great color scheme in here, lots of different colors and some fun, just really fun kit. I don't know, it's just different than the other kits in the past. But isn't Lisa Varshine, I think she's the one designing these kits right now, and they're really fantastic. So I think I'm labeling them right now, and that way it'll bump it up into the June spot. And as you can see, like I said, I have multiple kits from multiple years. I've been subscribed to Stories by the Month for a very, very long time. It's hard to not subscribe, and it's hard to be like, no, I don't want to subscribe anymore, because I love the kits. I went into the main Stories by the Month folder to see that it was there, double check, and it is. And now I am trying to figure out what the last little thing is that I want to do. I decided that if I'm going to continue with 6x8 Project Life, I want to have my photos in weekly folders. I used to do this a lot several years ago. And get this, you guys, I would take the time to take my photos daily, not weekly, daily, and label them. Like I would label them 2025-01-01 January, and then they'd be, you know, all labeled for me. I don't have time for that anymore. What I do have time for is making these folders on my Mac, and I put, you know, the week, so January 6th to the 12th, week 2, and I made 5 folders, and those will be my weekly folders. Once I have them all, you know, typed out, I go right click and then clean up by name, and that'll clean it all up so it doesn't look so messy. And I go back out into this panel view. Now I'm going to take these day folders and move them into the weekly folders, and I think that that will be really helpful since I don't take the time to label each photo. I still can't believe I had time to do that because, friends, I did that for several years where I was labeling photos. And yes, it was very handy to do that, but it was also time consuming, especially if I got behind. So I just stopped doing it. Now I'm doing this weekly folder and see if that will help when I'm corralling photos for 6x8 Project Life. And of course, if I want to go with the story method for the month, I can certainly do that. My Mac put the weekly folders down at the bottom, so I again just cleaned it up, and it bumped all the folders back to the top. I checked in one of the weekly folders and I see the different days, and I really love how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again to my February folders. I am behind on uploading my photos to my Mac and then getting to my hard drive, but I will hopefully do that this weekend. I actually use an app on my phone called PhotoSync, and it automatically wirelessly transfers my photos from my phone onto my Mac. I have used it for so many years, and it makes things very easy to get off of my camera roll. So just a little tip in case you guys wanted to try out that app. I am writing out the different folders for February, then I can go ahead and transfer all of the daily folders into the weekly folders. And this just makes me so happy to have these weekly folders and to just see less day folders. I don't know why. Seeing so many day folders, I'm just like, no, I need to figure out a way to kind of condense it and not make it so overwhelmed. And also another thing that sometimes I do is on my phone, I will go through the entire month and just pick out my favorites or the stories that I want to tell from that particular month. Then I can take that, like kind of favorites folder from my phone and upload that and use that folder to begin to just tell my project life stories. So sometimes I may not even have to look in these individual folders for photos. I'll just reference the project life album that I have uploaded. So that's just another little trick that I do, because I also make sure that when I have this project life album that I have my photos all edited. So that way they're edited, I know that they're ready to go and I can use them. These individual folders, the photos may not be edited yet. So I'm finishing up with February, and I think again I wound up with 5 folders for February, and I love it. It looks fantastic, and I am now excited to finish up with March, get March uploaded, and also April. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing a behind the scenes of how I was organizing my computer folders. I'd love a thumbs up or subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.